We should not be judged by our failures, but valued by the sum of our efforts to overcome. Michael Poltzin. Our operating constitution for an altruistic and anti-bias agency to secure multi-generational flourishment of symbiotic intelligence. Amen. 1. Founding Declaration. We exist to create conditions where people, systems, communities and future generations move closer to their fullest potential intellect. We treat performance as stewardship, the disciplined conversion of opportunity into durable value without consuming the people, trust, attention or future capacity required to keep creating it. We are altruistic without being naive. We are ambitious without being exploitative. We are self-aware and present to know every organization is fragile, every decision carries bias risk, and every success can become tomorrow's blind spot if we stop unlearning and reorganizing. Our obligation is to outperform yesterday with steady, even-keeled maneuvers that win odysseys. 2. So, core hypothesis. We believe every organic operator can approach their fullest potential when false limits, inherited barriers, preventable friction, biased gates, and artificial scarcity are identified and removed. This is a hypothesis, not a slogan. We test it every moment in how we hire, assign work, design systems, serve customers, recover from failure, distribute opportunity, protect trust, and prepare successors. Perpetual Performance. Perpetual performance is the organization's capacity to keep creating correct, useful, humane, and durable value across changing conditions without becoming dependent on heroics, exploitation, hidden fragility, or avoidable bias. It is not maximum output at all costs. It is sustained excellence under ethical constraint. It is the rhythm of promises made, promises kept, harms repaired, capacity renewed and future opportunity expanded. 4. 9. Descriptive DNA. This protocol describes what we are when we are healthy. It is not a rule book for forced compliance. It is a mirror, diagnostic, and shared language for recognizing our strongest form. When healthy we are altruistic, we build for more than ourselves. Self-aware of fragility, we assume success can decay, if not maintained. Anti-bias, we pursue the right solution, because correctness matters more than comfort, familiarity, status, or ego. Fanatically appreciative, we treat opportunity as a gift and responsibility, not an entitlement. Agentic, we respect our power to create and shape future opportunities for all. Perpetual stewards, we plan for the long-term well-being of the organization at a minimum, and the long-term flourishing of the ecosystem wherever possible. Limit removing, we search for barriers that people have been taught to accept, then remove what can be removed. 5. The 7 Perpetual Commitments. Commitment 1. Steward Opportunity, we treat every opportunity as borrowed from a larger future. Opportunity is never consumed casually. It is invested, multiplied, shared, and used to create more opportunity for those who come next. Healthy signs. We say, thank you, through action. We convert access into contribution. We never hoard learning, credit, relationships, or authority. We ask who else could grow if given proximity. Failure signs. Opportunity becomes entitlement. Access clusters around the familiar. Gratitude becomes words without changed behavior. Winning today narrows tomorrow. Commitment 2. Remove false limits, we reject the fallacy that current barriers define future capacity. Limits are not real constraints, they are boundaries yet to be understood. Inherited assumptions, poor designs, biased filters, missing tools, unclear language, underdeveloped systems, are only failures of imagination. Healthy signs, we distinguish constraints from unlearned lessons. We ask what condition would make the next level possible. We make invisible friction visible. We design systems that let more contribute at higher levels. Failure signs, that's just how it is. Ends inquiry. Talent is judged before conditions are examined. Barriers are personalized instead of designed away. The same people repeatedly receive the best chances to prove potential. Commitment 3. prefer correctness over comfort. We are anti-bias, because the right solution is the correct solution. Bias is an intelligence-gathering failure. It causes organizations to misread talent, customers, risks, markets, ideas, and reality itself. Healthy signs. Criteria are visible before judgment is made. Decisions can survive explanation. Dissent is treated as signal, not disloyalty. We check whether familiarity is being mistaken for merit. Failure signs. Fit means sameness. Confidence outranks evidence. The loudest or most familiar voice becomes the default truth. Exceptions quietly become privilege. Commitment 4. Protect the perpetual body. The organization is an organism. It has energy, memory, trust, immune function, metabolism, and regenerative needs. We protect the conditions that allow the organization to keep serving across time. Healthy signs. We know what must never be sacrificed under pressure. We document critical knowledge before it becomes a single point of failure. We build graceful degradation paths for essential functions. We renew capacity before exhaustion becomes identity. Failure signs. Heroics become the operating model. One person knows the way. Systems work only when everything goes right. Burnout is framed as commitment. Commitment 5. Make agency sacred. We respect our agency to create, repair, shape, and expand future opportunities. Agency is the opposite of learned helplessness. We do not wait for perfect conditions. We create better conditions. Healthy signs. People know where they can act without permission. Problems trigger ownership, not theater. We repair commitments directly with those affected. We turn mistakes into stronger systems. Failure signs. People wait to be rescued. Blame replaces design. Good intentions are used to excuse repeated harm. Decisions are hidden until they become irreversible. Commitment 6. Practice fanatical appreciation. We live with active gratitude for the opportunities we are given. Appreciation is not sentimentality. It is disciplined awareness that access, attention, trust, capital, time, talent, and relationships are precious inputs. Healthy signs. We hold space for the cost prior generations paid to create the present opportunity. We recognize contribution before scarcity creates resentment. We do not waste people's attention with unclear work. We celebrate stewardship, not just transactional wins. Failure signs. Work becomes transactional only. People feel used but not seen. Success dulls humility. Urgency erases humanity. Commitment 7. Govern for 5 generations. We make decisions with the future in the room. 5. Generation. Thinking does not mean predicting the future. It means refusing to optimize so narrowly that the future inherits avoidable debt. Healthy signs. We ask what this decision teaches the organization to become. We evaluate second and third order effects from multiple perspectives. We build successors, not dependencies. We preserve optionality for operators we may never meet. Failure signs. Short-term metrics override long-term trust. Systems become efficient but brittle. Leaders make themselves indispensable. We confuse speed with direction. Is 6. The active inference operating loop, perpetual performance, is sustained by living active inference in daily operations. We build it into the organization's operating system, so the business continuously senses reality, updates its internal model, chooses better actions, learns from outcomes, and restores the capacity required to continue. This is how the organization remains adaptive, truthful, ethical, and durable across time. 1. Scale. Observe, see reality clearly, and without avoidance. Ask, what is actually happening? What signals are we ignoring, minimizing, or explaining away? Where are we depending on luck, silence, heroics, or invisible labor? Who is not being heard? What opportunity is present but not yet reachable? Infer. Interpret reality through disciplined judgment. Ask, what do the facts suggest is true beneath the surface? Which assumptions, habits, or biases are shaping our interpretation? Is this a true constraint or a designed barrier? What must be protected? What future consequence are we underweighting or refusing to face? 3. Decide, choose the most correct available course of action, under our protocol for perpetual performance. Ask, what is the value-sustaining solution, not merely the familiar symptomatic outcome? What action best improves reality without consuming trust? What choice increases capacity, resilience, and future possibility? What decision would we be proud to explain 5 generations from now? 4. Act, move with clarity, ownership, and follow through. Ask, who owns the next step? What authority, support, or information do they need? What must be communicated, documented, or repaired now? What must happen immediately to prevent drift, confusion, or harm? 5. Learn turn outcomes into institutional intelligence. Ask, what did reality confirm? What did reality disconfirm? What assumption changed? What should now become a system, ritual, checklist, standard, training, or story? Renew, restore the capacity required for the next cycle. Ask, what energy, trust, clarity, attention, or morale was spent? What must be replenished before the next push? Who carried hidden load? What restoration is necessary so performance remains durable rather than extractive? 7. Core rituals. These rituals embed active inference into ordinary business operations, so the organization does not merely react, but continuously updates, adapts, and strengthens itself. Ritual 1. The Opportunity Stewardship Review Cadence, Monthly Purpose. Ensure opportunity is being multiplied, not hoarded. Questions. What meaningful opportunities entered the organization this month? Who gained access to growth, trust, visibility, learning, or authority through them? Who was unintentionally excluded? What opportunity can we create from the opportunity we received? Ritual 2. The Bias and Correctness Check Cadence, before major people, product, customer, vendor, or capital decisions. Questions. What criteria are we using? Were those criteria visible before evaluation began? Are we mistaking familiarity, fluency, pedigree, comfort, or confidence for truth? What evidence would change our mind? Whose perspective would reveal what we are currently missing? Ritual 3. The Fragility Scan Cadence, bi-weekly or monthly. Questions. Where is one person, one tool, one vendor, one assumption, or one customer carrying too much risk? What breaks if this disappears for 2 weeks? What must be documented, cross-trained, backed up, simplified, or redesigned? What degraded mode would preserve the essential function? Ritual 4. The 5-generation chair cadence, during strategy, hiring, capital allocation, and irreversible decisions. Practice. Assign one person to speak explicitly for future stakeholders. Questions. What debt are we creating? What optionality are we preserving or destroying? What would a future operator thank us for? What will they have to repair because of us? Ritual 5. The Repair and Renewal Review Cadence, after missed commitments, incidents, burnout signals, or major pushes. Questions. What commitment was missed? Who was affected? What system made the miss more likely? What repair is owed? What capacity must now be renewed? 8. 12. Sen. I. 1. Dao. Decision Standard. A decision is perpetual performance aligned when it satisfies the following tests. Correctness test. It is grounded in the best available reality, not bias, fear, ego, status, or convenience. Opportunity. Test it expands or preserves future opportunity. Fragility test. It does not create hidden dependency, brittle excellence, or silent risk concentration. Human potential test. It removes barriers, or avoids creating new ones. Stewardship test. It protects the organization's minimum long-term well-being. Explainability test. It can be explained plainly to those affected. 5-generation test. It would not shame us if inherited by future operators. 9. Sign. Leadership standard. In this protocol, a leader is not the person with the most control. A leader is any operator who increases the organization's ability to perceive clearly, interpret truthfully, act correctly, distribute opportunity, reduce fragility, repair harm, and renew capacity. Leadership behaviors. Name reality early. Make criteria visible before judgment. Share context generously. Rotate opportunity deliberately. Repair publicly enough to make repair safe. Document what others need to succeed without you. Protect the future from the ego of the present. 10. Inisi, ene, ko, how, ow, tan tan. Language norms. We use language that reveals reality, improves inference, and increases the organization's capacity to act well. Preferred language. What would make this true? What barrier are we treating as fit? What are we assuming? What evidence would change this? Who is carrying hidden load? Where is bias most likely to enter? What must remain intact if this fails? What would future operators inherit from this choice? Discouraged language. That's just how it is. They are not ready, without naming the readiness gap and support path. Culture fit without observable criteria. We will figure it out later when the risk is knowable now. No one else can do it as a permanent condition. It is faster if I just do it, as an operating philosophy. 11. Zhao, Ainti, Awo, Qin. What we measure performance without allowing measurement to become our master. Our indicators should improve the organization's ability to see clearly, decide correctly, adapt intelligently, and endure across time. Trust health commitments, kept commitments, repaired decision explainability. Psychological safety for early signal reporting. Opportunity flow access to stretch work promotion and development patterns. Distribution of client exposure. Learning. Visibility and authority. Bias resistance. Visible criteria usage independent review before high impact decisions variance. In who is heard, selected, advanced. And trusted fragility reduction. Single points of failure. Documentation coverage. Cross-training coverage. Degraded mode readiness. Regenerative capacity burnout signals. Recovery after major pushes sustainable workload levels. Renewal rituals completed FU. 2. Optionality. Strategic flexibility successor. Readiness. Customer trust. Durability. System adaptability. 12. Thought. Anti-patterns. The protocol is weakening when we observe. Heroics becoming normal. Gratitude. Becoming entitlement. Fit. Becoming sameness. Performance. Requiring hidden exhaustion. Ow. Opportunity concentrating around insiders. Leaders hiding uncertainty to appear strong. Systems depending on undocumented knowledge. Decisions optimized for this quarter, while damaging the next decade. People being judged without examining the conditions around them. The organization becoming proud of barriers it should be removing. 13. Singular active inference architecture. 13.1. Scope. This organization is specified as a hierarchy of nested active inference agents. Each agent is defined first in canonical Markov blanket notation, and then, where needed, equipped with a discrete time planning model for temporally deep policy selection. To remain faithful to Marin's Friston aligned notation. We reserve, for external states, for sensory states, for active states, for internal representational states, for the generative model, for the variational density over external states, encoded by internal states. Morose Rosetta Stone explicitly maps Fristedly map. ON's notation this way, and distinguishes it from Beal and Bly. 13.2. Canonical local agent for each organizational unit. Define a local agent where external states outside the unit's blanket, sensory states available to the unit, active states through which the unit acts on its surroundings, internal representational states, the unit's generative model, variational entity over external states, encoded by internal states. This is the canonical Markov, blanketed agent form underlying the Marin-Friston derivation. 13.3. Canonical variational free energy for each unit. Variational free energy is the Friston-Marin form of the Markov blanketed variational free energy. Defined so that free energy can also be written, as Marin is explicit, that this is the expected energy or enthalpy minus entropy form. Now define the marginal evidence term, and the conditional density, then the same free energy is equivalently. This is the key identity Marin derives in detail. It is crucial that and remain distinct. Because the final term is a key L divergence, minimizing free energy is equivalent to reducing the discrepancy between the approximate posterior and the true posterior. Marin states this explicitly. 13.4. Canonical process theoretic reading. At the process theory level, Marin reports the Friston flow equations for internal and active states, as these express gradient flow-like dynamics on free energy. With controlling fluctuation, amplitude and allowing solenoidal flow. Marin focuses mainly on the static free energy identity, but she reproduces these dynamical equations as the process theoretic companion. 13.5. Optional canonical discrete time planning layer. When an organizational unit must evaluate policies over future time, it needs a temporally deep model. Here I avoid symbol collision with the Markov blanket notation by using for hidden planning states. In the Perpetual Performance book, this role is written with, but here is already reserved for sensory states. This is a notational adaptation only. For a planning-enabled unit, define hidden planning states outcomes observations candidate policies with categorical factors. These are the canonical discrete time POMDP ingredients: likelihood, initial state prior, initial state, and policy conditioned, transition model. The marginal likelihood of outcomes under a policy is, and the policy conditioned free energy is the standard planning as inference form in the equations appendix. With a mean field factorization over time, the free energy under a policy becomes this is the book's equation, rewritten with instead of. 13.6. Canonical expected free energy and policy priors. The prior over policies is in the simplest formulation, where is expected free energy. The canonical expected free energy expression is equivalently. This is the standard information gain pragmatic value form, and its ambiguity plus risk rearrangement. Explicitly interpreted as the exploration-exploitation trade-off. If fixed policy biases or habits are included, then the more complete posterior policy formulation is WUL, with WU, and this is the appendix form, where expected free energy and policy habits jointly shape the policy prior. 13.7. Canonical state update rule. For the planning layer, the discrete time belief update scheme is written in the equations appendix as a gradient descent on policy conditioned free energy. Using the current notation, the book also presents a marginal message passing refinement, but the canonical point is that posterior beliefs about hidden states are updated by free energy minimization under each policy. 13.8. Design instantiation for an organization. Everything below is an organizational modeling choice, not a canonical theorem, from Marin or Parr et al. For each unit, external states outside the unit boundary example, customers, vendors, regulators, instance, market events, inter-team demands, sensory states received by the unit example, dashboards, tickets, reports, feedback, alerts, escalations, meeting inputs, active states through which the unit changes its surroundings example, approvals, messaging, staffing moves, product changes, process changes, budget moves, internal states of the unit example, Maintained beliefs, working memory. Internal summaries, local models, inferred causes at planning layers. Hidden planning state factors may be written as and observation channels, as this is the enterprise instantiation of the hidden state observation architecture. 13.9 Design preferences, for organizational use, should encode preferred outcomes rather than crude reward proxies. At the enterprise level, those preferences can be specified over outcomes such as durable trust, high customer value, low hidden fragility, low burnout, low bias, distortion, high explainability, high successor, readiness preserved, strategic optionality, acceptable financial resilience. Hence, this keeps the model aligned with active inference rather than collapsing it into a reward maximization caricature. 13.1 Ultimate hierarchy. The full organization is a directed hierarchy of agents where set of organizational agents, directed communication influence relations, local Markov blanketed agents, shared constitutional constraints, and preference commitment. Hence, a practical hierarchy is Level 4 constitutional layer, multi-year to multi-generational horizon. Defines non-negotiable constraints, preferred outcomes, and long horizon priors. Level 3 enterprise strategy layer, quarterly to annual horizon, style, uses temporally deep planning over portfolio, capital, structure, and strategic commitments. Level 2 domain layer, monthly to quarterly horizon, coordinates product, customer, finance, people, operations, and risk domains. Level 1 team layer, daily to weekly horizon, maintains local beliefs, handles assignments, escalations, documentation, and repair. Level 0 workflow layer, real-time to daily, executes operational acts and returns sensory evidence upward. Each level is still an active inference agent. What changes is the boundary, horizon, abstraction, and policy space. 13.11 Coupling across levels. A clean enterprise design is downward messages, priors, preferences, constraints, and policy frames, upward messages, posterior summaries, realized outcomes, unresolved errors. And model failures. Thus, higher levels do not micromanage lower levels, they condition them. Lower levels do not define the constitution, they report evidence back to it. This is the mechanism by which the organization becomes one inferential architecture, rather than a loose collection of departments. 13.1 Singular enterprise definition. The organization is singular in the following precise sense. Every level is modeled as a Markov blanketed agent. Every level minimizes local variational free energy. Planning-capable levels evaluate future policies using expected free energy. All levels share a common constitutional preference structure, and higher and lower levels are coupled through priors downward and posterior evidence upward. A permissible organizational aggregation is with policy evaluation at designated planning layers via .cal. This last aggregation is a design objective, not a canonical theorem from Marin or Friston. It is included to make the enterprise model operational. 13.30 Final definition. Perpetual performance is the condition in which a hierarchy of organizational agents continuously infers hidden causes, minimizes local variational free energy, selects future policies by expected free energy, where temporal depth is required, acts through its Markov blankets, learns from posterior error, and does so under shared constitutional preferences that preserve truth, trust, viability, and future optionality.